Hey guys, Jeff here with Ghost Knight Gaming, and we are back with another From Console to Screen. This time we are taking a look at the 2008 release of Max Payne, featuring Mark Wahlberg as the titular Max Payne. We're going to take a look at all the usual suspects here, and we're going to mark it and give it a score, and we're going to see the results at the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy checking this out, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and have a chat in the comments below about the movie, about other video game movies that you want to see me review, and join us over on the Discord where we actually watch a lot of these movies here and there with little movie times. All right, let's get on with the story. So looking at the story for Max Payne, and it's supposed to be a gritty neo-noir thriller kind of cop film based off of the Max Payne, the first Max Payne game. And my biggest dilemma is that they actually don't really get that atmosphere very well. Like, if you want to look at really good neo-noir, like going really deep neo-noir, you're looking at stuff like Sin City, and this one doesn't quite get there. Just overall, while it tries to be gritty, they try really hard to make Max Payne seem like such a tragic and brooding, dark character, and the delivery just doesn't get there. Now, Mark Wahlberg is playing Max Payne, and honestly, I think he actually could have really done this role well. I just find that the writing and the art direction doesn't lend well enough to making him fit that character better. Like, it's only so much he can do because it's as much the art style as it is everything else. But looking at the story, so Max Payne is dealing with cold cases. He's stuck in the cold case department. He's in the New York Police Department after his wife and daughter are murdered by junkies, as far as he knows. And well, they were able to deal with two of them. One of them got away, and he's been trying to find this third person to no avail. While doing so, he interacts with a woman named Natasha Sachs. And after an encounter with her, she is found dead, like butchered in an alley. And his wallet is in her possession. So from there, it leads us on a tale of, you know, various crime elements, conspiracies, weird drug cult, all focused around a drug called Valkyr that uh, potentially makes people superhuman, but also has some really odd side effects. And this is where I think the neo-noir kind of gets lost. It's like, neo-noir? Demons? No. Doesn't quite work that way. The story itself is not necessarily well-paced. It moves along, but there are certain elements that feel like there's none of the introspective kind of bits where a neo-noir would have people trying to figure out what's going on or kind of telling the story. Even in the game, they did it with comic book style panels to tell the story with, you know, background narration. And we got that at the opening, and then that was it. It really didn't happen anywhere else again. And something that can be used to great effect to tell this kind of story, and it just really was not used. It was very underused. As you progress through the story, you meet uh, uh, Natasha's sister, Mona Sachs, who is played by Mila Kunis. And honestly, she makes a terrible mafia boss. She's like Russian mafia, and she doesn't have the presence in her character to really carry this off. So, they discover more. They discover Lupino, who is basically the leader of this drug cult, essentially, who is going around and basically killing people and butchering people because he thinks he's on his way to Valhalla. And, you see the further conspiracy of where Valkyr came from. Max Payne's wife, Michelle, and her involvement in it and how she was murdered because of it. And I had a really weird moment later on because you get to Ragnarok, the bar that Lupino is hiding, and Max Payne finds them, and there is a copious amount of this drug all over. It's like, did you know? So I mean, you get some plot as to why they probably have access to so much, but there's a ridiculous amount, and then the bad guys shoot it all up while trying to shoot down Max Payne, and it's like, okay, so you wanted all this stuff so you could do all these bad things or whatever, and then you shoot up your supply to kill the cop? Really? And then the climactic battle with Lupino ends with BB, a guy that works at security, knows Max and his wife, goes in there, shoots Lupino for Max, and then we discovered that BB was the bad guy the whole time. He was behind all of it, and that the major corporation just kind of let him do his thing until he got in trouble. Uh, it kind of goes off on a weird tangent, and it gets very bloody very quickly when, after attempting to kill Max, and BB reveals the psycho that he is. I mean, irredeemable psycho. You know, the stuff he talks about just goes, whoa, 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 sir, you are crazy. And yeah, Max goes on a murderous rampage as he overdoses on Valkyr, and we have some really psychedelic moments. All in all, like the drug effect was really weird, and a very weird plot device that they used. And I don't know how I feel about that. It just tells you, kids, drugs are bad. Just saying. And then we get to the finish, and yeah, it's like it was setting up to hopefully get a Max Payne 2, but the delivery just wasn't there. So, looking at this story, I'm going to give the story a B. It paces okay, but it doesn't really get that neo noir feel. And there are some elements that are just so out and strange, and trying to interconnect them all the way through, it gets rushed at the end to go, hey, this plot connects to here, this to here, this to here, and it's not really anything. I mean, you can kind of figure it out as you watch. Oh, 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 and that's the thing. A good neo noir, you don't see the twists coming. This one you could, and that was just not great. Okay, so next up, we're going to take a look at the costumes. Honestly, there's nothing to report here. There's really no notable Max Payne outfits to really try to get in on. There's no elaborate, this is this organization or anything like that we need to worry about. And everything was just serviceable, mostly plain clothes. Lupino spent most of his time with his shirt off. And yeah, there was nothing really of note for it. The outfits were not spectacular, but they weren't terrible. So costuming, we're going to give a B. It was okay. There's really nothing to report. All right, so next we're going to take a look at the special and visual effects. So there were a lot of special effects used in this to portray the visions that people were having and the trip that people were on taking Valkyr. The first thing I'll note, I have no experience with drug trips, so I'm just, paraphrasing what I know from other people. It's really unlikely that the trip is going to be the same for every person. And the trip with Valkyr was the same with every person. So the drug effects, were kind of really way out there. It was almost way over the top. And it really didn't need to be, I don't think. I've seen other shows do drug effects that were a lot better, and they kind of felt better. This was feeling like it was trying to be supernatural when it wasn't. So it really the special effects really changed the feel of the film in a bad way. The other thing I note is the gunplay. Like, they honestly did one slow-mo gun scene in the entire movie, and this was what Max Payne was about, is a Matrix-style gun fu. Slow-mo gunfights all the way through, watching those bullets slowly go through, that kind of thing. And that was the signature mark of the Max Payne franchise. And there was one scene, and it was terrible. Honestly, it was bad. It was way near the end, and it was just what is this crap? You know, and just like the effects with the weapons, you know, the pistol he was using without actually going and testing a weapon of whatever he was using, the revolver he was using in the beginning, it was blasting holes in the bathroom stalls in a really ridiculous, over the top manner that really didn't make sense even for the weapon, unless it's an extremely high caliber, which I would have to look into that one to see the caliber of that one. But then also the shotgun. I don't, as far as I know, a shotgun will not launch a person after they've been shot by it 30 feet. I mean, it will knock them back. You know, the range he was firing at was fairly close, but at the same time, you know, on the reverse side, there was no kick when he used it. You know, his arm didn't move, the gun didn't move. Something for that round, it feels really, you know, it's like, oops, somebody missed that when they did the gun choreography. So, and then even then, the fight choreography is passable in a lot of cases, but once again, it's not amazing. So after looking at everything, I know I really ragged on the Valkyr overdose special effects, but I'm gonna give this a B. You know, as a whole, the actual special effects weren't terrible, but they didn't really match what the tone of the movie was. There was a couple of weird, like color effect moments when Max is getting beat up during one scene, and then that effect is never seen again. Once again, used once and gone. It's like, oh, hey, this is actually shitty. Let's not use it again. But they kept it in and then didn't use it later. So a lot of it didn't really match the tone, and it was really off tonal, some of the effects in it, and just didn't feel right. Okay, so let's take a look at the accuracy of this. So at first glance, and initially when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, this goes off rails pretty quick. Then I was doing research and I was looking into the story of Max Payne. And funny enough, and I'm actually going to have to refer to my notes here while we're going through this, because I made a ton of notes on this one, is it does actually go off rails really quickly while still trying to follow the story. So, like I said, we got to refer to my notes here because there was a lot in this one, and this may take us a few minutes. So, right off the top, it does follow the overarching plot of Max Payne 1. Max's family is killed by drug addicts. He goes and is searching and looking for the killers. He discovers the drug ring with the Valkyr. He does interact with Mona Sachs, though we'll get into that in a moment. He does discover that BB and the pharmaceutical company at Aesir was behind it all, and he goes to deal with them. So, okay, so far okay. So here's where we start getting off track. Okay, so by the beginning of Max Payne, the video game, he's actually in the DEA. So he actually changes departments. He stays in the New York Police Department in the movie. So we've got that. That's where it kind of goes off there. Um, you know, names are actually pretty correct all across it, except for certain things. So Mona is still a character in it, but this time she's actually a freelance vigilante assassin. And her sister is involved, but she's actually married to a mob leader. Her name is Lisa, not Natasha. And she's killed actually later on. Um, uh, sorry, losing my train of thought here. Max is framed for the murder of his partner, but the person that kills his partner is different. In the movie, it's probably Lupino. In the game, it's actually BB, whereas BB in the movie killed his wife. So that one kind of goes off there. By the end of the game, he actually deals with BB, Lupino, and he also finishes off the head of the Aesir company. I can't remember her name right now. And I don't think they actually mention her name in the movie. I'd actually have to look at the credits to see if her name is accurate. In addition, Lupino's actually working for one of the mob families, and he's not just his own little drug cult. And he's dealt with a whole lot earlier in the game comparatively. In addition, Max actually makes an ally of a Russian mobster, but it's not Mona. It's another guy that he interacts with. So yeah, you know, like off the top, it's like this and this and then this. He still overdoses on Valkyr and all this kind of stuff. So they hit a lot of plot points, but at the same time, they change so much of it, and they lose so many elements that are the feel of it. Like the bullet time only happens once. Max Payne's character is inconsistent. Uh, you know, names and some of the people are inconsistent. Who did what? Once again, is also inconsistent. So once I finally take a look and dig through it and looking at straight accuracy, and this is what we're looking at here, whether the movie was good or not, accuracy, you know, it's quite off. So we're going to give the final rank for accuracy a C. Because like I said, it seems like it's following, and you could check off the boxes of the plot points. Okay, they kind of happen, but then you start looking deeper, and you start seeing what is missing, what is changed, what is totally off, and more. So, you know, it was there, but not. Okay, so last thing we have to look at is the fun. Was this movie fun? The biggest problem for the movie is that it didn't maintain the style of neo-noir, it didn't maintain the style of the game, and it lost a lot of the elements of the game. So if you're looking at it from that, you know, it's really, really off. It's not a really good neo-noir film. It's not fun as a neo-noir film would be. You know, that mystery, that you dark broodingness, that deeper tone that you get in a film like that, especially a crime thriller. You know, it just didn't have that. On top, you know, the gunplay, all the major gunplay happens at the end, and it's not the same. So even still, it's, you know, yeah, Max is shooting a bunch of guys, but he's never on camera when he does all the shooting. Like, there's very few of those that he actually does the shooting at, up until a couple of last bits during the major gunplay parts. And once again, those gunplay parts don't act like the game. And then, you know, with the really drive to make this Valkyr so demonic, and throwing in these elements, and then throwing in the Norse mythology, really heavy overtones into everything from Aesir to the name of the drug being Valkyr, to the you know, tattoo guy going on about the Valkyries, and all of this, and then of course the bar being named Ragnarok, which a lot of this is also accurate to the game. It's still just not tonally there. So as a whole, I'm going to give the fun a C. It really, really failed to be fun in the various ways that you would enjoy it, whether as from the game perspective, from the film style perspective, to, you know, to even, you know, the bits that were trying to be like the game. Okay, so we've taken a look at everything so far in the movie. So let's look at its final score. So, of course, the final score we're looking at, well, as a whole, is this enjoyable? So our final score for it is probably a low standing B. The movie is not terrible. It's average. However, it's on the low end of average. For those that enjoyed the games, there's a lot missing. There's points that are okay, but there's a lot missing. For somebody that's a fan of neo-noir films, and that I feel that it's very off and does not match the right tone. It doesn't feel like this. You don't, you know, it doesn't feel like a gritty cop in a gritty city in a dark world, you know, that kind of thing. It's not there, and it just doesn't feel like it's there. So as a whole, I mean, give it a watch just to see how it feels, but it's average at best. Thank you to everybody that joined me with this video. We're going to be back with more of these later. And like I said, we watch all of these movies on the Discord, so that way you can make a judgment for yourself and see if you agree or disagree with my statements. I want to hear in the comments below what you guys thought of the movie, and whether you think maybe if Mark Wahlberg got a second chance and a you know, a better script and a better art direction, if he could have done Max Payne justice. Let me know what you think on that, and let's have a chat about that. Check out my other videos. I've done a whole bunch of other movie reviews. We've got a ton of video game movies coming out in the near future, or have come out, that I've still got to get a chance to go check out. And even more videos to review as we go. And of course, we've got other content. We've got our other social media. You can hang out with me on Twitch and on Discord. Have a great day, guys. Have fun. Keep gaming. And I'll see you guys again next time.